What's going on, guys? It's Alex here. So we're going to be doing a quick review today on the Smith's triangle sharpening system. I don't know what it is, but every time I go to Amazon I see this thing and it almost begs me to buy it every single time I'm there. I also get a couple questions about it every now and then. Hey, have you tried the Smith's triangle sharpening system? And no, I have not. So I finally bought this thing, and yes, I bought it with my own money. I wasn't sent this or anything, so you will be getting a good honest review. Now, a quick disclaimer, I am going to be using a strop at the end of this video. I always sharpen with a strop, and I'm going to do everything exactly the same with these stones that I do with my other stones. That way I get an accurate comparison between the two. The strop I'm going to be using is the Knives Plus Strop Lot. Now, the knife that I'm going to be using to sharpen is the Spyderco Endura 4 with ZDP 189. This is not the VG10 version. ZDP 189 is a very hard steel, and it's fairly hard to sharpen. It's not the hardest steel to sharpen, but it is fairly difficult to sharpen compared to other steels. Honestly, I'd say it's a little bit harder than S30V, but honestly, once you get into that range, they all kind of feel the same to me. So it should give this stone a good workout nonetheless. Oh look, we got a little plastic angle guide. How nice. Now, this is what I was curious about. They recommend using oil for these stones, and it says spread a thin layer of Smith's honing solution or any light oil or water across the surface of your stone. Place the sharpening angle guide on one end of your stone. We're not going to be using the angle guide. So that was kind of my question, is whether or not they recommended oil or water. It sounds like they're recommending oil or any light oil, and quite honestly, I'm not a big fan of honing solution, mainly because I think this is petroleum based. I think it's, oh no, it's non-petroleum. So that's good. Now, it does not say that it's food safe. Now, quite honestly, that's one reason I don't really like oil stones, is because most of the so-called honing solutions, they don't advertise them as being food safe. And I pretty much use food safe stuff on all my knives. One thing that I have been experimenting with lately is using cutting board oil, which is essentially mineral oil. It says it has like vitamins and stuff added to it with vitamin E. Ooh. So I'm actually going to try using cutting board oil on these stones and see how it works. Now, it does say you can use water, but in my experience, anytime a stone manufacturer says to use oil first, it means that they're oil stones and that they work better with oil. So we'll try oil first. Every time I don't show the dulling process on camera, someone's always like, that knife wasn't dull in the first place, and you didn't actually sharpen it, you just honed it. I would say that that's pretty dull. I mean, it doesn't even like, well, there's a little bit. It doesn't even like really bite in enough to do any cutting. Just kind of. Alright, I'll go ahead and use the honing solution. Seems like a lot of times these coarse stones take a little bit to break in. A lot of times they'll feel super coarse in the beginning, but then end up smoothing out after you sharpen a little bit. The stone does feel like it's cutting fairly decently. Stone seems to just soak the oil in. This is kind of difficult to do here with my overhead camera. So I'm completely apex. My bevels are fairly close on each side, and the knife actually feels fairly sharp right now. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is move to the next grit. Let's see, how's this thing? So I don't know if you can see this or not, but that's kind of what the edge looks like. I think it's time to move on, and I'm pretty much out of fluid. Yeah, that feels much finer. Well, that's actually leaving a pretty nice looking edge. Pretty much done with that. I'm going to go back to my old standard of cutting board oil. I'm telling you, oil stones are just messy. Just get oil everywhere. It's one of the reasons that I don't really use them. Yeah, I mean, it feels really sharp right now. I mean, it's shaving right off the stone. Can you see that? So that's before stropping. Now, let's pull out the strop. Actually, let me get some phone book paper first. I still think we have a burr on here, to be honest. It is kind of getting through it. So this is the Knives Plus Strap Blot. It's a little better. Could still use a touch more, I think. Yeah, that's pretty sharp. And this is an old favorite here. Oh man, look at that. That's a pretty clean slice there. Alright, how far can we take this? Inquiring minds want to know. Alright, now. Dang. Alright, let's take it a step farther. Double it. Alright, it's kind of getting ridiculous now. That's crazy. I don't know at this point whether or not we're testing the knife or the sharpening stone. I mean, that thing is still razor sharp. Alright, let's take it a step further. Oh. Seriously? This is so dangerous. Yeah, that'll cut. Alright guys, so what are my thoughts on this system? Well, I like it. For $22, I don't think you can go wrong. It does a really good job. Sharpens ZDP 189, no problem. Don't get me wrong, ZDP 189 still kind of a pain to sharpen, but it did the job and it did it really well. One thing that I really like about this stone is the natural oil stone, or the natural Arkansas stone. It's a really good stone, produces a really nice edge even before stropping. After stropping, it kind of takes it to another level and you get insanely sharp edges. And remember, this is EDP 189. It's fairly hard steel to sharpen. Anything under this, I mean, this is gonna do the job, no problem. It's definitely a good beginner stone, I think, because it has good hard stones. These aren't soft water stones. These are a lot more forgiving than those are gonna be. The only downside that I can see is that it takes oil. For me, that's kind of a downside because these are kind of a pain to clean, but if you can get past that, then I think you're gonna end up with a really good system. So this is just kind of like a first impressions, initial review of this thing. Now I will be using this system as kind of my primary sharpening system in the coming months for my EDC knives, and if anything changes, I will definitely let you know. So hopefully this video was helpful. Don't forget to like the video if you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.